I just have a little story for you this morning. It comes from the storytelling tradition of Hasidic Judaism. Hasidism is the mystical branch of Judaism which emerged in the 18th century in Eastern Europe. And like most forms of mysticism, it emphasizes the presence of God or the holy in everything. It encourages us to be mindful so that we can experience God's presence, and it honors joy, especially through singing and dancing. So this story is called the Zusha story, or Why Weren't You Zusha? Rabbi Zusha was a renowned rabbi in southern Poland who lived from 1718 to 1800, and he was known for his deep humility, his wisdom, his humor, his kindness. He never wrote any books, but his students passed his stories down, and finally, Martin Buber, one of the great Jewish theologians of the last century, collected these stories. And this story goes like this. When Rabbi Zusha was very old and coming to the end of his life, his students came to visit him and found him trembling in his bed. They asked, "Rabbi, what's wrong? You must be cold." And they rushed around his little house, finding more blankets and making him hot tea. He thanked them for the blankets, and he sipped his tea gratefully, but the trembling continued. "I am not cold," he told his students. "I am just afraid." His students were stunned. "What could you possibly be afraid of?" they asked him. And Rabbi Zusha answered, "I am afraid I will be turned away from heaven." His students were even more stunned. If Zusha couldn't get into heaven, who could? "But you are a great leader," they said. "You're almost as wise as Moses. You're almost as kind as Abraham. Surely God will know this and would not turn you away." And Rabbi Zusha answered, "I'm not afraid of being asked why I was or was not as wise as Moses. And I'm not afraid of being asked why I was or was not as kind as Abraham. God already has a Moses and an Abraham. I am afraid of being asked, Zusha, why weren't you Zusha?" Because every human being has a divine spark. Every soul has a purpose. And the healing of the world depends upon each one of us being who we are meant to be. In Hasidism, the belief that each person has a divine spark is not a metaphor. It is more like a spiritual claim about our identity. But to explain that, I need to tell you another story. So according to the teachings of Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Hasidism, the creation of the world happened this way. First, there was contraction. Before the universe existed, there was only God's infinite, endless light. And to make room for the physical world, God had to contract, to withdraw, to move back. And this is what created this space where creation could occur. And then there was shattering. The shattering happened because God poured the divine light into that space God had made. To hold this light, God created bowls. As the light poured, the world was being created. A world made of divine light, a world without greed or cruelty or violence, only goodness. But then something happened. The bowl shattered. No one knows why. Maybe the light was too intense and the bowls were too fragile to hold it. After all, even God was learning how to create this world, and no one does perfectly the first time, even God. When the bowls shattered, divine sparks of light flew everywhere, thousands upon thousands upon thousands, some rushing back to God, but many falling into the world, trapped in those broken shards. And though this might be hard to believe, that perfect world is all around us, just broken into jagged pieces, like a 1,000-piece puzzle thrown to the floor. The picture lost until someone finds all of the pieces and puts them back together. Finding those sparks of divine light and freeing them is our purpose. The Hasidim teaches that every time a person performs an act of kindness, we liberate a trapped spark. Every time we speak a word in love, we liberate a trapped spark. Every time we do something, become something that only we can do or become, we free a trapped spark. And when all the sparks are gathered up, God can mend the bowls, and our world will return to that state of goodness and wholeness that was meant to be. And here's the thing, each person alive has certain sparks that only we can free, no one else. We each have sparks that are given to us alone, and the only way we can find them and free them is to love with our whole hearts. And the only way we can do that is to be ourselves. As the healer and Jewish storyteller Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen puts in her version of this story, we are the ones who can find the broken pieces, remember how they fit together, and join them together. And we call this the repair of the world, Tikkun Olam. In every moment, with every act, we can heal our world and ourselves. We are all holy sparks made duller by separation. But when we learn to live by our hearts and to see God everywhere, then our brokenness will end. Then our bowls will be strong enough to hold the light, and our light gentle enough to fill the bowls. As we repair the world together, we will learn there is no one and no place that is not holy, and we begin with ourselves.